Hi there, welcome back to Avery Gardens. I'm just tidying up this small bed of strawberries. Now these are June bearing strawberries, so these have already cropped, and what I often do when they finish cropping in sort of end of June, I'll cut the whole plant back, foliage and all, and they'll regrow, and you may be lucky to get a second sort of flush of flowers and subsequently a second flush of fruit. These ones have basically finished now. We're in late September, so the chances of these cropping anymore are pretty slim, but you can see how lovely the new growth is. And what I'll do when these look a bit tatty in a few weeks, I'll cut them back further and put them to bed for the winter. But what you'll notice is a lot of strawberry plants, whether they be ever bearers or June bearers, will throw out baby plants. Now you can see I've got one here in a pot, and what they'll do, they'll throw these, they're called runners, and they'll come from the crown of the plant, and you can actually pot these up and create new plants. And that's what I've done here. So I just thought I'd show you sort of what we do. You've got two options. You can either pin them directly into the ground, which is, you can see what I've done here. So this is grown from this plant here, and I've pinned it straight into the ground and it's rooted already. Or you can put them in pots. Now I don't encourage you to have more than 2 or 3 runners per plant. So this is the mother plant here, and it's chucked out 3. I wouldn't do any more than that because it takes a lot of energy from the plant. So if you are going to propagate strawberries in this way, I'd always recommend you do it at the end of the year. When they're growing earlier in the year and they're fruiting and they're flowering, you want all that energy to go into the plant. So when these runners get chucked out in early summer, cut them off. But now we're in September, it's a really good opportunity to make the most of these free plants. And it's really simple. You can't really mistake them. It's a really long stolon with a little baby plant at the end. And I use something like this. It's a bit of metal, but you can use anything really. Sort of bend it into a ring and just poke it into the ground, pin it down, and it's as easy as that. But these ones are really rooted. They root really quickly. You can see here, this is one that's rooted. Just double check there's roots coming out the bottom of the pot. You can see there. Once you see roots at the bottom of the pot, just sever the cord like so. And you can go as close to the plant as you want. Cut off any other bits of debris. And you've got a new strawberry plant. And you can very quickly fill up this whole bed. So I've got a lovely bed here, just from a handful of plants, and you can see I've got pots of runners dotted around, and I'm now just going to, the ones that have rooted, just snip off and plant out, and they've got the whole of the autumn to root, and then next spring you should get a good crop of strawberries. They do recommend that you cut the flowers and the fruits off young plants, so if it's your first year growing strawberries, you can cut the flowers and fruit off, but I just tend to let them crop because they're so easy to propagate. You can just get strawberries kind of non-stop. So as I've said, if you've got a strawberry bed and you want to multiply your stock, now's a good time to put these runners on and plant them out ready for next year.